Hey y'all, happy Sunday. We are about to make some super delicious and easy yet comforting Sunday dinner. So stay tuned, y'all. We have the classic baked chicken with a little Spanish twist to it, Spanish rice, and some butter garlic broccolini. And of course, we have to serve it with a good drink. So we're gonna whip up some peach lemonade. Let's get started.
So I always start my week off making fresh sofrito or fresh green seasoning, which is basically a mixture of cilantro. So sofrito, it's cilantro, green onion, bell peppers. You have garlic in there, a few just different herbs and spices, oregano, thyme. Sometimes you can add peppers in there that some are green that's not too spicy, but if you could find them, use them. I can't find certain ingredients, so I use what I have. Also, this is more kid friendly, so no spice or anything like that. So like I said, for my sofrito, I like to make it at the beginning of the week, and I store it in mason jars just to help it keep it fresh and preserve it longer. And I use this within 7 days. If not, I put it in these ice molds, and I would freeze them for up to at least 4 to 5 months. I definitely use it within a month, but that is an option. I truly love sofrito, and I truly love green seasoning. I know Haitians call it epis. Basically, it's different names for it, and you have a few ingredients in there that makes each recipe different. So for this sofrito, you add cilantro in there, and that's what makes this recipe super unique, the cilantro and the fresh peppers that they have. And I just love to put this on all of my dishes, whether it's vegetables, a protein, rice, potatoes. It just gives your dishes so much flavor. It definitely elevates the flavor so much. So that's what I do recommend, and I love it. So like I said, I store these in my container, and I will use it for that week and freeze the rest of it. Now let's get into this juicy, baked, tender, flavorful Spanish style chicken. So with my chicken, of course, my oven is preheated on 400. I clean my chicken very well with salt, lime, and a little dash of vinegar, and I give that a very good mix, and mix that well and rub that chicken with the lemon and shred any pieces of hairs, any of that slime on there, and yeah, I pat dry it. So at this point, I'm placing all of my chicken into a baking dish. We are using drumsticks, but you're more than welcome to use any style chicken. So once I have it all in my baking dish, you gotta add the sofrito. I add about a half a cup of sofrito. That's just my personal preference. So much flavor. Then we're going in, if you don't have sour orange, it's a Spanish marinade, then go ahead and go in with the orange juice. And I'm also going to go in with fresh lime juice, and that will create that flavor that we need, and it's so unique. I love it. So I'm squeezing the lime very well to ensure I get all of that lime juice out. And then the next thing I'm going to be doing is adding a little browning sauce and seasonings. So I love adding browning sauce to a lot of my baked dishes, just because it gives it that color that I prefer personally. And I'm going in with a few basic seasonings. Y'all seen smoked paprika, a little bit of Spanish, which is adobo all-purpose seasoning, is a Spanish seasoning. You have your basic garlic powder, onion powders, and of course salt and pepper. And you can't forget about that sazon. Now, since I put salt in my sofrito, I don't need to add a lot of salt to this dish. You have salt in different things. My butter, I use plant-based butter just to keep it a little bit more healthier, and then I give that a very good toss. I don't just toss it. I suggest massaging all those flavors into the chicken, under the skin. You know what I mean? You can make slits in the chicken if you want to get it all up in there. You can also inject the chicken with the marinade. It's so many things you can do to really ensure your chicken is juicy and flavorful. We're going to bake this in the oven on 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes to an hour. It just depends on how much you're using. It depends on your oven and all that. Of course, we have to set the tone by adding some smoked paprika to the top to give it that beautiful color I prefer. And then I'm adding aluminum foil for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to go back in and baste the chicken and remove the foil. Next, I'm working on my sides. I am using this broccolini. I really love using this style broccolini. It tastes so good and it's so pretty. It makes the food just look elevated. So I start by prepping the broccolini. I went ahead and gave my broccolini a very, very good rinse, soaking it with a little bit of distilled vinegar and just cleaning it 3 to 4 times. Now I'm just removing things from it like the leaves, cutting it to my preferred length. And yeah, we'll get started with that. So for my Spanish rice, one of my favorites, super simple and easy, to a pot with a little bit of oil. I'm adding in some sofrito, and you want to cook that down for about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Then once your sofrito is cooked down and you smell that beautiful aroma, we're going to go in with our basmati soaked and clean rice. You have to soak and clean your rice. First of all, you don't know where it's coming from, the manufacturer, what's in the rice. 2, you just want to clean your rice so you don't have so much of the starch. Basically, you don't have too much starch. So I cooked the green seasoning through a little bit, or the sofrito through, and I'm adding a little bit of seasoning just to give it a little bit of flavor. You got to add the turmeric for that yellow color. This is real yellow rice. We're going to add some butter for additional flavor. And then, of course, I got to go in with my kids' favorite, some frozen vegetables. So here I have carrots and peas, just a little bit. I added in about 1/4 cup. So nothing too major. And I'm going to give that a good mix. Let the flavors all come together and absorb. And then we're going to hit that with a little bit of either water or chicken broth. If you are using water, I recommend using a chicken bouillon cube. But either or is good. So give that a very, very good mix. And I cover my rice, if you're making it on the stove, with aluminum foil and a lid. This would just really ensure that the rice steams perfectly and it's well cooked. So for my vegetables, all I'm doing literally is blanching my broccolini just so it can cook for about 4 minutes. Nothing too major. This is so simple and easy. And then I'm going to make a garlic butter sauce to go with it towards the end when everything is ready, so it stays fresh and hot. Now it's time to pull the chicken back out. At this point, it's halfway done. What I love to do is carefully remove the foil from the chicken, and I like to baste my chicken with the juices that it created. Now, you don't really have to add water or broth to your baking dish. I personally like to sometimes. It just depends. So it is a personal preference, but I love adding water or chicken broth, even beef broth when I'm making, beef proteins, just to get that juiciness and the flavor. I'm a saucy girl, so I like everything with sauce. So I baste my chicken. Now I have a little cornstarch slurry. This is to thicken up that sauce a bit. Now I don't want it too smothered, so I'm just going to do a thin type of gravy sauce. So I just mix that in there very well. Baste the chicken again with that same sauce to ensure that it's fully covered. And we're going to put that back into the oven and season to taste. I add smoked paprika, like I said, for the look of it. Put it back into the oven for about 20 more minutes. And then we're going in with our butter garlic sauce for our broccolini. So I'm just adding a few tablespoons of butter. I would say about 1/4 cup of butter. Then we're going in with a little bit of sofrito. Now I'm trying to tell you, this will enhance your vegetables so much. You don't have to add everything else I'm adding in, but please add the sofrito and the butter. This would just make your dish pop. So I'm laying my broccolini in that butter sauce that we're creating. Once I do that, I'm going to season with a few of the seasonings that I do have listed, and everything is listed in the description box. All the ingredients for each dish will be listed with the measurements in the description box and pinned to the comments. So be sure to check that out if you are interested in making this. Like I said, I'm using the basic seasonings that I used before, and I'm going to gently toss that broccolini in the seasonings and in the butter and let that pretty much sit on simmer. It's done cooking, so I don't need it to be too soft. So I pretty much just let it simmer for about 40 seconds and then remove it from the heat. As you can see, look how beautiful that chicken looks. When I say this chicken was so tender, so juicy, and it just warmed my heart, Literally, I'm not playing. It was so delicious. If you decide to make this, please tag me on Instagram at Chaz's Cuisines. Again, tag me on Instagram at Chaz's Cuisines if you decide to make this. Also, let me know what you think about this recipe in the comments below. And if you are not a part of this family, please hit that subscribe button and come be a part of this lifestyle. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this simple, easy, delicious dish, giving you simple ideas, showing you different ingredients and small things you can add into your dishes to elevate it. So simple dishes like this can be elevated. My rice is so fluffy and so good. I cooked that on low for about 20 minutes, and look at that. It's perfectly, the aroma is so good, and the flavor was perfect with that baked chicken and the sauce smothered in it. Okay, now also the broccolini is done. It smells so good. It looks so juicy and flavorful. Perfect vegetable on the side. Now plating it, I love this part. This just makes you crave this meal. It's so good. But you can also pair this baked chicken with some creamy, fluffy mashed potatoes. You can also do a sweet baked potato. You can do green beans, collard greens, black butter beans, Spanish beans and rice. With plantains. You could do yuca. You could do so many things and add so much to this recipe. So like I said, if you decide to make it, tag me on Instagram story at Chaz's Cuisine. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Share it with your mama, your friends, and your family. And I will see you all in the next video.